let me know that you could hear and see me in the chat box. Just more important things so that you can see and hear me. So mention that in the chat box. And also, perfect. Thank you. And also let me know. It's awesome if where you're from. It's nice to know where you're from as well. Share it with our little community here on today. We do have a lot of people attending today. So share where you're from. I see some California, which is a big deal. Oh, a lot of Californians are here, which is good to have you. Awesome. And also, I just want to share that if you have any issues with hearing or seeing, refresh the page, or you might have to exit and come back in. Also, check your settings of your volume that they're on, your camera. I'm not your camera, your volume is important so you can see. Okay, so there is a lot of places going on. We've got a lot from Canada. We've got Washington State. We got some BC. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you. We've got our trainers on here. Lisa is from no, wait. Am I getting this right? I'm always getting you mixed up with the other trainer. From Calgary, Alberta, Calgary. Tell us, Lisa. Because I always get mixed up with you. And Edmonton, sorry, Edmonton. I always get you mixed up with Leah. So we have some of our trainers on here, which is awesome. Hopefully you get to meet them as well when we're doing all these demo days in the new year. So, we've got another person from Edmonton. Welcome, Susie. So we've got a lot of range of states and provinces, which is great. I always like for us to put that there so we can see how the community, how big it is, and how we all share this in common of giving our customers great brows. Okay. So on that note, I tried to set up my room with some balloons, but I was having some success, oops, not success. I was unsuccessful. Sorry, my camera's being iffy. Give me 1 second. So we have our nice little banner. Yes, it will be a recording. So I have these beautiful balloons that say RefectoCil Intense Browns because we know that the holiday season is coming. So we want to showcase how great these services are for the holidays as well. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's begin. What we'll try first is get through the presentation because we will have a live demonstration as well. So we want to get through the presentation first and then answer some questions, the PowerPoint first, and answer some questions while I'm getting the model ready. Yes, there will be a recording. The recording will be sent to you afterwards in a thank you email, but I also will be uploading it on a Dropbox for more permanent housing. So that link that you originally get, if you don't download it and save it, you're going to lose that recording. And then we'll have the new one that you can pull from our website or email me to get the link. Okay, because we want to put it somewhere more permanent. The platform doesn't keep it for too long. Okay, so awesome. So let's get started with our Intense Browns presentation. The Intense Browns was launched in July, which was really exciting. We did a whole big event in Cosmoprof Vegas. So it was really great opportunity to help the US side where they do not have a FDA compliant or approved. When we say approved, is the color additive. So we don't have that. Even screening from Toronto. Hi, Rosa. Even in with the original oxidative tints, they are not FDA compliant. So RefectoCil, the manufacturer in Austria, was working really, really hard to make sure that there is something in the US that can be freely used because there are states like California. That's why I am excited that we have a lot from California, because for them, previous to January 2022, they were not allowed to be offering any of these lash and brow services, which is pretty, I would say, detrimental, because these services are very popular, great and easy add-on services to your salon with great profitability. And who does not want to emphasize their lashes and brows to frame their face and also to avoid having too much maintenance when it comes to their day-to-day routine? So that's why lash and brow styling, it's very important. So California was missing out on that. So now they're able to, in California and New York, sometimes I believe Texas as well, or Cincinnati, if I'm correct, they're able to now offer these tinting services with Intense Browns. So that's what the first slide. Welcome to everybody that's coming in. Thank you. That is why, hi, Michaela. So that's why we have this slide here, and we put California because California was the one that was like a big issue for them. Excuse me, and they were getting fined as well. So finally, brow and lash tinting comes to California. The FDA recently amended the regulations to provide for the safe use of silver nitrate. So that's what's in our uh, activator, which is works as a color additive to color eyebrows and eyelashes. So this is a great big deal that's been in the process since 2015. They were working to make this happen. So we are very happy that now, because they're able to offer now services of lash and brow tinting, now the Intense Browns is legal and they're able to use it in schools as well. They're able to teach it freely and safely. Okay, so that was something really exciting. So let's get into right now the actual brand, like the actual Intense Browns by RefectoCil. With the Intense Browns, you're able to create the most intense looks, but also, yes, intense, but also natural as well. We want to be able to give them that depthness, to give them that intensity, but also to make the look as natural as possible as well. So it's, as we mentioned, it's FDA compliant as a color additive, and we're able to give customers fuller looking eyebrows and expressive eyelashes. So yes, you can use the black brown on the lashes to tint, and we'll show you minus the primer step because you don't need that. The primer is utilized for skin staining. So you'll see that the Intense Browns has 3 steps. Lash, for brows, for tinting, for lashes, it has 2 steps. Okay. So, and when we say lasts up to 6 weeks, this is how the speech I try to train because it varies on different clientele. 5 to 7 days, it will last on the skin, but depending if it's oily versus dry skin, right? The more drier the skin is, the more, it sucks it in and it lasts longer. The more oily the skin is, it breaks down. The oil breaks down that coloring. And the same thing is with the oxidative tints as well. So we say 5 to 7 days onto the skin, which is way longer than the oxidative tints because the oxidative tints do a shadowing and that's it. It's done in that same day. Okay. Number of users for change. Okay, sorry. And then we say 4 to 6 weeks onto the hair. Okay, so it can last the same amount onto the hair as the original oxidative tints, but also be mindful. It depends once again if they're oily versus dry, and also what the customer is doing at home. We don't hold their hands when they go home, but we do give them proper aftercare information so that when they do go home, they can try their best within that 24 hours to do the proper aftercare, but also after the 24 hours, what they should be doing, right? To help prolong that effect. So for example, when they get the treatment done, after the that treatment, within that 24 hours, they can't get their brows wet. They shouldn't be in hot showers where the steam can break down the color, any sauna, swimming, any makeup, any oils. Be careful when you're putting eye cream that when you go to bed, it can get smudged into the hair and release the coloring sooner. So stuff like that is very, very important. And then after the 24 hours, try to avoid the brow areas when it comes to scrubs, when it comes to oils, when it comes to creams. Avoid that because then you're able to extend that wear even longer. Okay. Um, the recording will come back into you in a thank you email, Kendra. It lasts only for a week on the platform, and then it gets put onto our website, or you can request a Dropbox link for myself. But you will get it after the webinar is done in a thank you email. Okay, so let's look at the effects. There's our lovely model. And let's look at the 4 different colors. Okay, so there's 4 colors for now, but we're hoping that in soon time we will have an even lighter color and also true black color for the lashes. So for now we have 4. 4 is a great way to start. Well, it's not great greedy, but 4 is a good way to start. Hi, Marlena. Okay, we have to pause a little bit and let you guys know that the global trainer from Austria is on our webinar. So if you have an applause emoji or a hello emoji, we can say hi to Marlena from Austria. She is my right wing and helping me so much to better RefectoCil, to better, you're so funny. See, there we go. To better RefectoCil and have the passion she has. The passion she has portrayed to me, so we can portray it to you guys as well. So yay! Welcome, Marlena. Did I embarrass you? No. It's a good thing you can't see her face. Oh, okay. And we have Renee as well, our sales rep from Florida too, which is great. We've got our whole family community here, which is great. And you guys as well, you're part of our community. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So going to the 4 colors. So we have our ash brown, which is awesome. You guys are great. We have the ash brown, which is great for the lighter hair. And as you can see by the model, she's got the blonder hair, even towards the tail and even much blonder. So if you even have your cool tone blonde hairs, the ash brown would be something you would need to utilize on them. First, because it is a lighter intensity, but also because it's that ash brown. When they have that nice clean blonde, it's a cooler tone. So great for the natural and cold colors, cool tones. Then you have your chocolate brown. Your chocolate brown, would ash brown be best for gray haired clients as well? Yes, because of that cool tone. Yes, it will. So I have a customer that I always do that has the gray haired as well in their brows, the coloring, and the ash brown with the primer gives it that cool tone that matches. Yes, so you're good. The chocolate brown has some warm undertones to it. So as you can see the model, as you look at her hair, she does have some warmer colors in her hair. I would say some caramel or some warmer reddish colors as well. So that the chocolate brown is what's going to give that illusion. It has a slight warm undertone, so it's not going to be red like we're used to with our oxidative tints, but it's going to give that warm tone. Your deep brown, like you can see with the model, because the model, she has beautiful, luxurious hair. Like, I'm jealous. It's like gorgeous on her. But we wouldn't want to do a black brown because the intensity of the hair with the dark browns can be too overwhelming. So the deep brown gives it that dark tone, enough to match the hair and not be too contrasting or too much darker than the hair so it looks too aggressive. And then when you go to the black brown, if you need to give somebody a little bit more structure to their face because they have a softer look, then you can use the black brown for that little bit more of the intensity to structure that face, the face. Okay, so those are the 4 colors we have, and what better way than to see befores and afters. These are great images, and they are on our website for you to actually download. And when you're doing your consultation with your customer, show them these, especially if it's a first-time customer and they don't really understand the concept of intense browns or how intense it's going to look. You can actually show these befores and afters of the 4 models to give them an idea. Okay, the great thing as well about intense browns, anybody here that's a you can put a hands up, but are you a microbladist, PMU, permanent makeup type of service that you offer? If you want to put your hand up, that's awesome. So we know that we have people in here that are microbladists. Perfect. This is a great service for you to, when you have, okay, perfect. Yes, this is a great product for you to I was gonna say again, to offer this service in your salon, in your microblading salon. As I see, there's a lot of you guys, and somebody's taking their course. Sweet, rain, that's awesome. Because when people come, microblading is an intense look as well, right? And it's an artistic skill. When you have somebody coming in to get the service or to get a consultation, they might be unsure. First of all, the price. Second of all, so first of all, the price. Second of all, the pain that comes with it. Sometimes the invasive service, because you are giving a little bit strokes of cut into the skin to create those hair likes when it comes to microblading. Or they're not sure. Do I want to be with this look every day? So give them a intense browns treatment so they can go for the next 4 to 6 weeks, see how it is, see that this is like, okay, yes, I do want to invest in microblading, or no, this actually is not for me, but hey, I would love to come back and do the intense brown. So it could be a great addition add-on to your services. And nano shading, yes, that's another one, nano shading as well. Perfect. Okay. So this is a great way to help you. So here's our befores and afters. So we got the first one, the ash brown. As you can see how nice and cool the tone is still. And then as you go to the chocolate brown, you can see a little bit of that warmth in it. It's kind of hard to tell in the pictures, but when you look at it on your own screen closer, you can see there's a little bit of that warmth. And then you have your the deep brown and then the dark brown. Okay. So you can see the befores and afters. You can see the three different techniques that we're going to talk about, but in these models, the techniques have been the full brow technique. So you can see from the beginning to the end, the brow is full. Okay. So we're going to show you two other techniques that you can do that you can accommodate to a lot of your clientele. Now, I did see a question that was a little bit lengthy, so let me read it. I have to ask before I forget to ask. The regular brow pigments that RefectoCil offers at times doesn't hold well on my clients with gray brows. Is there something I need to look out for? And does this hold better on the white gray hairs? Now, the original oxidative tints, they are different from the intense browns because the intense browns is actually going to coat the top of the hair, and you're going to provide like a better coverage as well because it's going to darken the whole entire hair plus the skin. The oxidative tints, if you're having it not grasping the gray hairs very well because they are the coarse wiry gray hairs, you have to look into bleaching. So you have to look into pre-softening the hair for 3 to 5 minutes to break down that gray, that structure of that color in the hair, and then be able to then tint and have that even coverage. So we do have some webinars on that to help you to see what bleaching is, and we do have the product called Blonde Brow. Otherwise, the intense brown is going to fully cover. Yes. Okay. Nano shading, we will have Rain if she wants to explain that. Which option would be ideal for red hair clients, or will red hair options be coming? I'm not quite sure about anything coming for the red hair, but I would utilize the chocolate brown for your red hair. Like as I mentioned before, it's not going to be that red intensity like our oxidative tints that we have a red color and we have a chestnut. So think of the chocolate brown as a milder version of chestnut, because even chestnut was really good at bringing out warmth. So for now, these are the colors. We, don't, we'll see what's going to happen in the future. But also explain this to your customers when you are consulting with them, right? So they're not expecting to see something different. Always be honest with them as to what the results will be. Let's quickly look at the products as well so you understand what's in the system, okay? So in the system, you're welcome. So in the system, we have the two primers, okay? Now, you have the medium primer and the strong primer. So when we work trade shows and people ask us which one should I get, I always suggest getting the medium primer first with the ash brown to start lighter first. If this is your first time and you feel a little nervous and you don't know how your clients will take it as well, if you don't really have a lot of clients that want that intensity, start mild and then show them what the service is like, and then you can build up with the colors. Okay, the stronger primer doesn't mean that it's going to help the effect last longer. The intensity of the color will be stronger. So you can actually take your ash brown and use the medium primer for your light hair clientele, and then take your strong primer and intensify it even more for maybe a little bit of a darker skin tone. So you can play around with the both primers with all the four colors and intensify them. Okay, so the other question, which I see that Alma asked here, is can you mix the colors? So we don't suggest the mixing because you're kind of like defeating the purpose, which what we mean by that is with the original oxidative, we can mix colors to cool down, to warm down, to get a medium brown shade from the natural and the light brown, right? With the intense browns, they are intense, right? So when you take, say, for example, ash brown and mix it with the deep brown, you're only going to make the intensity even higher. So your original consultation with that customer is not going to be the coloring that they wanted. You're going to intensify it even more to what it should have been. So they do, and if Marlena wants to jump in and write a little bit of a comment, she can as well. But that's what we've been told about the mixing. Now, on the other hand, if you want to test it out and do it yourself and see, you can. But it would be on models, so you don't do it on a customer testing it out, so that you can see what the look would be different than the original colors. Okay. Yes, they are PBD free because they're vegan and they're plant based. So they're all plant based extracts within the color gel and the primer. Okay. So great for people who are allergic as well to the oxidative tints, and great for people who might be pregnant. You know, the rule of thumb, even though the original oxidative tints are not, they're okay if you're pregnant. But if somebody was very conscious, like, no, I don't want to, but I really need to color my brows or lashes, they could be using this. Okay, so Marlena did make a response. We would not recommend, it is not necessary. There we go. Okay. How would you compare these to henna pigments? So we just did a little talk about this. I can't remember everything, but what I've been getting as a feedback from henna users is that the coloring is the coloring in the hennas is too warm, so that it comes out very copperish looking for certain customers. Also, the durability of it on the skin does not last as long as the intense brown. So that's the feedback I've been getting. I personally have not gotten to henna, and I know Marlena had a great experience with somebody who does do henna, and their feedback on intense browns was that, once again, it lasts longer. The quality of the colors are great as well. The shelf life of these products are 6 months of the tube. So one thing I'm going to let you know, because I just want to make sure I go through the presentation, is on the back side of your tubes and bottles is a little icon. It's really going to be really hard, but there's a little icon right there of a jar with a number in it. And that means once opening, this lasts 6 months. Okay. The liquids are different. Like your tint remover will have a different timing as well, but always check in the on the behind of the product to see that icon, because it lets you know. How long does it last on the skin? We say 5 to 7 days, depending on the customer's skin reaction or skin type, if they're oily versus dry. And okay, so, and what their maintenance is at home as well. There's the 4 colors. So it's been repetitive of the 4 colors that we have as the base gels. And then we have the activator gel. So this is the one that is the silver nitrate that has been approved by the FDA as a color additive. The system is compliant. This individual product has been approved as a color additive. So that's a great thing to know. And this is what's going to create the magic. So when we see with the model today, this is what's going to showcase the coloring, because all 3 gels are clear. So when you apply the first step, it's clear. When you apply the second step, it's clear. So you're wondering what's happening here. As soon as you put the third, the activator, that's where instantly, as soon as it touches the color gel and the where the color gel is and where the primer is, it instantly darkens. So we'll have to be able to do certain techniques to smoothen it out, to not have it to be very like patchy. Some areas stronger than the other areas, but also brow mapping is very, very important. It's very important that you shape the brow first, you map the brow first, and work within that. But because this is, you're remodeling a brow, or you could be like creating a brow on somebody who's missing a lot of brow hairs, you want to make sure that that brow is on fleek, as they say. You want to make sure that that brow is even from the beginning to the arch to the tail, and not uneven and not wobbly in any way. So brow mapping is very important. Okay. Okay, so hopefully, there's a lot of questions, so hopefully we didn't miss them all. But now the accessories here is very important to know. You know, your eye makeup remover is the same one that we use with the rest of the RefectoCil line when you're doing your lash lifts, your brow laminations, and so forth. The brow shampoo is a great, amazing new product that helps to get a deeper cleansing. Either or of these that you choose, you always have to follow through with a degreaser. So you always have to follow through with something that's going to remove any residual leftover onto the skin or the hair from these makeup removers. You will need to use the saline solution. Okay. The tint remover is specifically marked on it for intense browns. It's not the same as the original oxidative, because the technology of it, the way that it works is different. So make sure that if you're using intense browns, you use the tint remover that says intense browns. Be mindful when you're picking it off the shelf. The brushes are the same that we have on for the original tinting. The brow mapping pencil, great pencil, glides smoothly, no tugging of the skin. When people try it at trade shows, they're sold and they buy several of them, because it's very hard to find a really good white pencil that has that no tugging, because if it tugs, then your brow shape would be uneven as well. Okay. And the tweezers, great tweezers, grab the hair very nicely and branded for RefectoCil. Okay, so let's power along a little bit. And these are some others. There's a saline solution that we talked about, very important step, and you will see this in all the RefectoCil services, that we use something to remove any residual left over onto the skin of the hair after the makeup remover. Your protection cream, yes, you can put protection cream on top of your outline, but do not make it go onto the area that's going to be stained or the hair that's going to be colored, because then it's going to be a barrier and it will not get into that area as well. It's a great massage cream at the end or an eye treatment, but we have the eye care pads. I'm going to be putting it on our model today as well to showcase to you how you can add value to your brow services, okay, and your palettes that rest on your hands so your hands are free. Especially with intense browns, when you're shaping the brow, you want your hands to be free to hold the area. Your aftercare products, so important. And guys, the holidays are coming. These are a great products to put on your shelving as a POS, as a point of purchase, POP, sorry, is a if the saline is not available, any suggestions to remove? If you're going to use a saline from the drugstore, it has to be the one that's in the first aid section because it's salt water, not contact lens solutions. Okay. Holiday stuffers. These are great to have it on the front of your reception desk there, because they don't have to be products that are used for people who are doing these services. They're great products to give to your person you love, or your sister or your mom or your bro or whoever, just to maintain their lashes and their brows and give them the love that they deserve, especially when they're exposed in the summer to the sun and so forth. The brow liner, amazing makeup line. I currently do have it in my brows. I like to use two colors to create the ombre effect, and the uh, uh, the highlighter like silk on the skin. And after an intense brown service, you should have the highlighter as well in your service area to put on the arch of the brow as well, to highlight even more that brow. Okay, so these are products. The makeup line is that you can use as well in your treatment, but great way to sell it to somebody who's done an intense brown treatment, to have it with them for that in between service, because when it fades out, they'll need something to cover it, to fill it in until they come to their next service. Okay, for their next service. Sorry, I'm running along through this a little bit faster because the timing, because of answering the questions. So we're going to try and put a hold on the questions. I feel bad because if I don't look at them, they go up. But let's hold on the questions to get this done, because I can answer during the demonstration. So the three techniques that you can see here. So let's look at the full brow technique. This is going to be the easiest one, right? Because it's going to be filling the brow, mapping the brow from the beginning to the end, and doing all three steps from the beginning to the end and applying it on. So it's ideal for customers who want that effect that's strong, that's more, or for a client that you're going to be reshaping. Like if they're missing part of their brows, you want to be able to give them a new brow. So you'll be from the beginning to the end filling in that area to even it out. Okay. The other technique is your ombre brow, which is a popular one that I like to do, because if you have customers that are like, ooh, I don't know if I want that intensity, but they like the fact that it's vegan. It's also, you're in the US, if you have to use a FDA compliant tinting, learn how to do the ombre effect, because you're going to be able to soften that look more for that customer and for them to not feel as intense as it is. So basically from the arch to the tail and to a little bit of the beginning of the brow, it's more pigmented. But as you reach to the beginning of your brow, you're taking your spoolie part of your brush and you're brushing that in a softer effective way. You're not using the brush, because the brush can give a very dominant effect, and you don't want that in the beginning of the brows. So that's where your spoolie part plays a very important role. Okay, so, and that's for people who want to look more natural. So make that effort to learn these techniques, because then you can reach all types of clientele. And once again, I'm saying this because in the US, you want to be using this product as it is FDA compliant. Okay, brow filling technique, as you can see with the model, this is sometimes for people, if you feel they have a strong area of their brow. Sometimes the customers have at the beginning of the brow, it's more pigmented and it's more fuller. And but then from the arch to the tail end, they're missing. It gets more sparse. You can just map just the area that you need to fill And the other areas that are not mapped, nothing goes on them. So the areas that you mapped, you do the steps, the 3 steps, but the other area that was not mapped, as you can see with this model, at the beginning of her brows, nothing was put on there. So it almost gives that the effect of an ombre look as well, but you're avoiding using anything at the beginning of those brows because they were already more denser, okay? Charging for this service, it is between, we say 40, between $40 to $60 because it is, brow tinting, regular brow tinting, you do 20 and up. Because this is going to be a remodeling and you're going to be taking time, it has 3 steps. It has the drying times in between, plus the brow mapping to give them a very appropriate brow shape. It's your time and it's your artistic skill. So we say between $40 to $60. Okay. And you can include a brow shaping within that as well. Oh, okay. So what we looked at that. Perfect. So stalk us on social media. Okay, follow us on Facebook. We've got our RefectoCil Facebook, RefectoCil North America. Our Instagram, we've got our RefectoCil North America, and we've got our Browista by RefectoCil, my training account. And then we also have our website, our educational website, that you can catch all these webinars. You can also get the profitability sheets, which you should be getting a thank you email with all of these. But if anything is missing, the website is your buddy. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning, and if you can start pulling out your phones now, take pictures of anything here, of the presentation, during the demo, take pictures, because before we end the webinar, there will be a surprise slide. So if you don't already have your cameras out, start being a paparazzi and start taking pictures of this webinar so that we'll showcase to you what you're going to do with those afterwards. In the meantime, let us get our model ready for the demonstration and stay till the end so we can share another slide with you. Okay, so let me get my model. If you have questions, please ask them, because now is where I can freely answer them while I'm prepping my model. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the camera off because I have to bring the camera to the model's face. I don't want you guys to get dizzy. But if you have questions, start rolling them out and I will answer them. Can you just close the door for me? Sorry, Willa. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna get our model in the bed, and then we're going to fix the camera so that you guys can see it better. And can this be done in an upright salon chair? You can do it in an upright salon chair. Yes, you can. As you can see, as I had behind me, I had a salon chair. We're gonna do it on the bed today. But you can do it on a salon chair because some areas or some salons only have room for a chair. Make sure your chair has a little bit of a recline, just a little bit, so that it's comfortable for your customer and a good height for you. But yes, you can do it in a salon chair. If you're doing a lot of spa services and you have the room for a bed, scary. Oh, you want a blanket? Are you sure? Oh, okay. If you're in a spa setting and you have a bed, you can do it in there and give them a nice full spa treatment with the massage and everything, right? So it's ideal for both. Okay, I usually say when you do lash lift services, that's what you want to do laying down, so you don't have the gravity pulling any solution to the eyes. But otherwise, the brow tintings, it can be in the shapings, can be done. A little reclining in the chair is what I mean is when you do waxing, because you want to make sure that the wax doesn't drip on them, and also get a nice little apron on top of them so you don't stain them. It's available at Cosmoprof, not at the moment yet. I don't know when it will be, but not at the moment. There was a question. Yeah, I work in the hair salon as a cosmetologist, and I don't offer brow coloring because from what I know, it's illegal. So I'm excited for this. Yes, so you can properly do this. I do have, I believe, a webinar up where I did do it on a chair. If it's not on our website, you can ask for me and I can send that to you so you can see how it was done on the chair. If you pre-map, do you leave the pencil on and wipe it off after yeah, the pencil comes off at the end. And sometimes you will have to retouch the pencil if you were cleaning and you remove too much. So let me just get the camera on the model. Give me 1 second just to position it. Let's hope you can hear me now. Can you guys hear me now? Please let me know that. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Technology. You love it and then you hate it sometimes. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. Please stay on. Don't leave. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's start with the prepping. If there were some answers you didn't hear me, please repeat the question. I know there was where to buy, and we have it on our website at RefectoCileEducation.com. It's on the website under Intense Browns, and then when you hit the tab, there's a section that says where to buy, and you will see a map of where to buy. Okay? And a list of distributors' names. So let's start with the prepping because we want to we have a little hiccup. So let's start with the prepping. So hopefully everybody's good. If you still can't hear, please re-enter. Yes. Is that better? Okay, so the first product is the micellar eye makeup remover. Okay, no picture. Like before picture, you mean? Hopefully, if you can't see the screen with the model, maybe refresh your page. But everybody else can see. Good at your end. Okay, everybody else can see. So if you're having a hard time, refresh your page. Okay, so we're prepping. So remember how I said even if I get it a little bit too closer, it's going to blur. So this is the closest I can get it, or else it's going to get a lot of blurry moments, right? At the end, when we do the final, I'll bring it closer so you guys can see. Okay. Hopefully this is, you'll see the steps. You'll be able to see the steps properly. So remember how I mentioned that it's important to do the cleansing with both steps, the eye makeup. So I'm just using the eye makeup remover for now. Okay. But if you use a brow shampoo, you can do that step instead of the liquid one. But sometimes they won't come with any makeup in their brow, but they will have powder on. So that can get transferred into the brow. So that's why it's very important to follow both steps. Just your prep will be much faster because there is no makeup. But as you can see, there was some effect of powdering and so forth. So we're going to clean that with the eye makeup remover first, and then we're going to grab the saline solution. But as I mentioned, the scrub and exfoliant is very important in having a smooth application as well. So if the customer has dry skin, no voice. Sorry, Chrissy, I gotta run. No worries, Brene, no worries. Has she had tint before? Is that her natural color? Right now, that's her natural color. No voice. Everybody else can hear me? Sorry, this is concerning me, but is everybody else can hear me speaking, right? Okay. They will have to check their settings. But the scrub, okay, perfect. Everybody can hear. Awesome. The scrub, it can be a professional scrub that's meant for facial scrubs, that's meant for the face, has small spheres because you're working on the delicate areas of the skin around the eye area. Okay. So I'm just using one that GW, like Austria, Marlena graciously gave me. It's not available here in North America. So I'm just using it, but the spheres in it are very small. Okay. So that's why I'm leaving the saline solution till the end, because I'm going to do the scrub. I'm going to squeeze some onto my hand, onto my glove, and I'm going to take my Q-tip and also get the area behind the brow as well. Okay. Behind the hairs, behind the hairs, but also the skin area that you're going to as well be coloring. Okay. Be staining. Okay. And I'm going to turn my Q-tip, get some more, do the other side. So if you're using any facial scrub product in your business for your facials, I'm sure the ones that you have are great with small spheres that you can use on the face, okay, around the brow area. Perfect. So after I've done this, I need to remove the residue. So that's where you can take your cotton round, put some saline, because you want to make sure, as we mentioned, degreaser, right? A gentle oil-free exfoliator is great. Yeah, great. Yes, oil-free, because even the eye makeup remover is oil-free, non-oily. Okay. Oh, you can do it. Sorry, there are some questions I missed. I want to start the service. Can you please guide me on how to get the certification? You would have to, you should check on our website under educational calendar to see who's offering a certification class. It's through our distributors, or you can reach me in the email me, and I can try and see what distributor is offering one. You can do it if you're a licensed esthetician. Yes, you can. Would a liquid exfoliation be an option as well? I don't find it, any reason that you can't use a liquid one, but as Marlena mentioned, it has to be a gentle one that's non-oily as well. Okay. Can we use a gentle liquid? Yeah. So Marlena, have you used any liquid ones? I have yet to use liquid ones. And yes, I do want to launch one, but not just of yet. And Marlena, witch hazel. This is the second time I've had this asked to me. Can they use witch hazel? This is something that was asked to me, because I'm wondering if some witch hazels have some kind of oil property in them that maybe no, but you can let me know, or it might be something we'd have to find out further. But it is a second time somebody has asked me about witch hazel. So it'd be great to hear your opinion. So I'm doing the saline solution. No, the saline solution is going to do that, Shannon, for the toner that you're saying. The saline solution will do that. That's needs to do when doing this. This is the steps. This is step that needs to do when doing the service, or is optional. The scrub, if they don't have oily, dry skin, you can avoid the scrub. Right? You can avoid the scrub. The scrub is to, if somebody has patchy skin, like very dry skin, if you were to do the intense browns, when that skin flakes off, you're going to have patched areas in the intense browns and it won't look good. So you want to prep the skin. Same thing when you go tanning. You want to exfoliate the skin first so that the evenness of the tan goes on and that dry skin is flaked off, like the dry skin is taken off. Okay? For that smooth, even application of the tinting or the tanning. Okay, so I'm just making sure there's no more spheres, nothing. Now what I want to do is I just want to dry the hair area because I did put the saline solution. So I want to dry the brow area before I map it, okay? So a lash dryer is going to be very important to have because during the 2 steps of the primer and then after the primer, the color gel, you will need to dry the brow area. Just remember, when the area is wet, it's not going to accept the next step properly. And this is the same tip you should take when you're doing brow laminations and lash lifts or lash curls. Because if when you're doing the first set of the lash perm and then you're the hair is wet and then you're going into the neutralizer, it might not accept it as well as if the hair was dry. So take that into consideration. Okay, Marlena, witch hazel I think is okay, but as it is estrogen, it might harm the process of getting the primer onto the skin. There we go. So you might not have that even smooth application of the primer onto the skin, which then can result in uneven brow tinting, right? Brow staining. But Marlena will ask and she will let me know. And if you have this question, I forgot where the question, Megan, you should email me so I have your email and then I could reply to you back. Okay, so we prep the area. It's nice and dry. We're going to get our brow mapping pencil and we're going to map. And I have it here. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. Okay, so even lamination, yes, but even a lash lift. What I do, I found that the lash lifts lifted even more. Yes, and this was a nice tip that Marlena told me to try out, and I did, and I dry in between all my steps of anything I do from RefectoCil. So do the service after the last step of brow. Yeah, so you can do brow lamination first. Make sure all the residues are taken off from the brow lamination, because if you leave any residue on there from the brow lamination, it's not going to be effective. You're not going to have the intense browns working. So make sure that all the residues cleanse off properly and the brows are dried before you start with the intense browns. Okay. So we're going to brow map and we're going to do the 3-point rule. So the bridge of their nose right to the beginning, where the beginning of their brow should be, from the bridge of the nose to the front. So you can see, sometimes be mindful that if the nose sizes vary. If you go too out to the bridge, corner of the bridge of the nose, your brow will be too out the shape, and you don't want that, right? So make sure you can go a little bit on top of the tip of the bridge of the nose, and that's where the brow should be, and you do your marking. Then when they open up their eyes and they look straight, we're going to go to the corner of the bridge of the nose to the corner of the iris, and we got the arch part. Then the corner of the bridge of the nose to the corner of the eye is where we have the tail end. Okay, so we do the same thing with the other side. Look straight. Okay, and then you're going to connect it. Okay, so now with Rule, our model, I'm not going to do too much skin staining so that it is a little bit more natural for her. She doesn't want it too overwhelming. So as you can see, I'm even pressing pretty light, and the color pigment is really nice. Okay, can you guys see that? Is it okay? How long do you dry them for? Do you remember drying the brows with a fan between steps during a lamination? Yes, we do. How long do you dry them for? You'll see the brows. Like for me, that was like what, 60 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds. You can see that the hair is, and I take the spoolie and I brush them too, so that if they're more denser brows, you're getting the fan to work in between them. Okay, so let's. And make sure that the brow pencil does not go on the area that you need to stain. So this is the part that's going to, it's going to be take some time for you, right? Okay, so turn this the other way, yes. Oops. So a great pencil will make your life easier. A great mapping pencil. That's why I love these ones. And then you can make sure. There we go. Make sure that they're matched. Okay, so everything good so far up until the brow mapping? Everybody feels okay? Any questions before I start with the primer? And I will show you the primer. I'm just going to do a quick little, just the illusion of this one just trips me. I'm just evening it out for my eyes, but I'm not tinting down there, so it's okay. Okay, so we're going to grab the medium primer. Okay, that is your medium primer. Okay, and the nice thing is that the bottles I will show you have a different coloring. So even if you didn't have to read them, you can pick them up easier. The primer, the medium, the writing is lighter. The primer, the dark, the strong, the writing is darker. So you can pick it up properly as well. The colors, the different shades of the browns are different, and the activator is a silverish. The tube's white, and then the activator is like a silverish. That's nice, the different coloring. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze my primer first. Okay, and I will show you what the gel looks like. It's a little bit, the primer has a little bit of a looser consistency than and the color gel and the activator are thicker. So see how it's clear, like the gel, sorry, a little blurry. Oh. Okay, so what was the product you used for after the micellar? It was a saline. Thank you, Megan. Okay, and my client reckons the original RefectoCil tint lightens her semi-permanent brows. Would this do this? It's because of the peroxide. Marlena, am I wrong or am I correct? Because people who have like a tattooing or microblading or semi-permanent brows, the original oxidative tint can lighten them. I have seen that, but I'm assuming it's because of the oxidative, which opens up the hair structure. Marlena, let me know if that's what it is, but I think this one will not correct. Okay, so this one will not affect because it's not opening the hair structure, and if right, so it's going to be okay. Yeah, there we go. So I'm correct. Yep, there we go. Okay, thank you, Marlena. Okay, so with the primer, what's very important, especially when you have dense brows as well. So you're going to apply it. Sorry, just give me 1 second. You're going to apply it and you're also going to go against the hair growth. Okay, sorry. You're going to go against the hair growth. if there's denser brows, because you want to make sure that it reaches into the hairs, right? So you're going to apply it. And follow that within that brow mapping. But what you can do is go against the hair growth as well. Okay. And be, generous enough that that skin is going to reach, like the skin is going to reach, the primer is going to reach to the skin. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. Tilt your head this way. And just make sure you don't pull any of that pencil inside, because then you could result in uneven results, okay? So we're gonna leave that on for the 4 minutes. So the first step, does the brow mapping prevent color from bleeding? So it can still, when we do the activator part, the last step, it can bleed through. So just make sure that you're not just relying on that brow mapping to allow you to be a little bit more sloppier, I guess the word would be be precise. Try your best to be precise, and maybe put protection cream on top as well of the brow mapping, but don't touch the hair. Okay. So the timings are 4 minutes for the first step, which is the primer, 2 minutes for the color gel, and 1 minute for the activator. Megan, is it clear now? Set to refocus, so hopefully it's clear. Okay, it's because the camera's a little bit too close and every movement makes it a little bit blurry. So my timer has started, but I just wanted to finish applying. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna leave that for 4 minutes. And this set of brush and bowls are not to be used. You go to the next set. Okay. Question. Can you repeat the timing? Yes. Okay, wait. First question. How does the primer work exactly? So the primer is preparing that skin staining. It's allowing the skin the staining to last longer as well, because without, and also to give that cool tone color as well. So the primer does several things, but it's actually going to prepare the skin for that skin staining and allow it to be even throughout the skin. What we noticed before with the product that we had before, the sensitive line, that you might know, is that without the primer, it was very blotchy in areas. So it wasn't a smooth transition of the whole, getting the brow to the end. And the primer is helping to do that. Okay. And to help the skin staining to last longer as well. That's why we say we get 5 to 7 days out of it. Okay. The timing is 4 minutes for the 4 minutes for the primer, 2 minutes for the color gel, 1 minute for the activator. So it's half of each. Okay. So timer goes on after application, but we can still touch up. I just touch up because I put my timer on. I just want to touch up some areas. But the thing is, the timings, what they say, they end at that. They're not progressive like the oxidative tints that keep going. So if it says 4 minutes, it stops at 4 minutes. 2 minutes, it stops at 2 minutes. 1 minute, it stops at 1 minute. Okay. Will you be using shade chalk? No, I'm going to use ash brown for her because she doesn't want them dark. Yeah. But the chocolate brown, I did do it on somebody last time. And it's a nice color as well with the warmth in their hair. But we're doing the ash brown for our model. Sorry, 1 minute for what? Primer. Sorry, not primer. Activator. The last step, the activator, is 1 minute. So 4 minutes for primer, 2 minutes for color gel, the base gel, and then 1 minute for the activator. The timings are nice and fast, but the thing is, in between time is where you have to dry. So if you didn't have, so you need to book your customer 30 minutes in for this. And depending what your shaping is, but you should book your customer for 30 minutes, and it's a drying time. So if you didn't have a fan to dry, it would be 4 minutes in between the two steps. So 4 minutes after the primer and 4 minutes after the color gel. But if you have a fan, you can make it go drying time go faster and condense it to just 2 minutes of drying time for combined, right? Instead of like 8 minutes. If we don't want intense, we skip the intense. If you don't want intense, we skip the intense. You mean the actual whole system? If you're in an area where you need to be using the intense browns, you're going to be using this system. Now the question, do you think is, are you trying to say that if you don't want it to be so intense, do you avoid the primer? The primer, I would avoid it only, obviously for lashes, and only when the customer has very dense brows and they don't really need skin staining. They just need the coloring of the hair. That's when I would avoid the primer. Yes. What is the drying time? 4 minutes in between after the primer, it's 4 minutes, and after the color gel is 4 minutes. But if you have a fan, you can literally do it in a minute each. You can condense it to a minute instead of 4 minutes, depending on the density of the brows. The thicker the brows are, the longer the drying time would be, and the shorter it'll be if they're more sparse. Between 30 seconds it can be for sparse brows, and about a minute or so for fuller brows. But you're saving a good chunk of drying time with a fan. Okay. Hopefully I kept up to speed with all the questions. There's a lot happening. Okay, so my timer is coming off in a minute. Okay, so in a minute the timer is off, and we're going to take dry Q-tips. Dry Q-tip. No, nothing wet. Okay. The reason why I use a Q-tip is because I want to stay within that brow mapping, so I don't use a cotton round. Okay. So the fan, it varies. As I mentioned before, it varies between the density of the brows. So for me, you'll see with Rula, when I do the fan, I can do it between 30 to 60 seconds. Okay. Are they discontinuing the original? The oxidative tint? Oh, no, because the oxidative tint does what it needs to do for a more grasped coloring. So it's not going to be replaced. In Canada, here, we don't have any issues with FDA, with Health Canada. So we can be tinting with the original. So it's not going to replace. You're going to have just both aspects, because not everybody's going to want that intensity, and you'll have to be able to use the original. But that's for us here in Canada. In the US, it's a little different story. Okay, so my timing is up. I hope I answered the questions up to, yep. Okay. So let's remove with a dry Q-tip. And let's remove the other side as well. I'm just going to do one more round check. My room is pretty dry as well, so that's another thing too, that the condensed timing is going to be fast. So basically just take your fan and dry that brow area. Oops. Give me 1 second. My strap. Sorry. So I still have to remove the other side. I'm just drying the brow. And you can use like a little bit of a spoolie. Okay. So we're going to remove the other side. And we're going to do the same thing with the fan. And then we're going to go with the color gel. And the color gel, once again, it's going to be a clear. So as I said, it's about 30 to 60 seconds. She doesn't have full brows, like dense brows. So the 30 to 60 seconds is okay. And then we can grab the color gel. Okay, so I think there is a question, but just give me a second to get to the questions. Let me squeeze out the color gel first, and we're going to be using the ash brown. Okay. And the consistency is much thicker with the color gel. It's much more jelly. It's not so loose. Okay. So let me see the question. Marlena. Okay, I think you missed that part. Over here, it is time to go to bed. Okay, Marlena. Or better say, my son has to go to bed. If he falls asleep quickly, I will join again. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Marlena. Thank you for being here as a support. We appreciate you a lot. Have a wonderful night if we don't hear back from you. Okay, yes, my clients are interested in long-lasting but not intense color, but just good coverage and great. Yes, this will be good, the intense browns. And I'm going to show you the ombre technique that you can help with giving it a little bit more of a subtle look. Okay, dry, dry, dry. Yay, yes, Megan, Deanna. Dry, dry, dry. Dry Q-tip. Okay, so let's apply the color gel. Same as we did with the primer. Following that brow mapping. Okay. We're going to do the other side. I like to clean my brush as well before I put it back in, but this is going to be very important for the primer part. That your brush always has to be clean before you dip it in again. Okay, so we're going to put the timer of 2 minutes. Remember, half of the 4 is the next step. So I've already started my timer, and I'm just making sure that color gel. Okay, perfect. Now you're gonna get rid of this bowl and this brush because you're gonna start with a new one afterwards. So if you're gonna go buy the kit, it only has one set of 2 brushes and 2 bowls. So I would always suggest, this is the other stuff I suggest you should get. If you're gonna buy the kit, you need to get the saline solution. It doesn't come in the kit. And then you have to get the styling gel, which is the aftercare, and then an extra set of the brushes. Okay. And in the brushes comes 2 different angled ones, like 2 different types of angles. I'll show you quickly and I'll get to your questions. So in the kit, you will have like 1 flat end and 1 narrow. I use the 2 flat ends, these ones, for the first 2 steps. But when I get to the primer, activator, sorry, I use the narrow one. You want to have precision, so less bristles, less brushes, okay? So that you can, and more angled, so that you can get into there evenly, okay? Okay, so questions. Well, let's see. No, not longer. So, okay, let me see if there's questions. Right. Do you do a thin layer or product or thick? It's like an in between. It's in between. It's not too thick because you want it to blend nicely, and it's not too thin where you don't really see it in there, and the skin staining might not get good. So it's an in between, a happy medium. Okay, but be generous enough to coat the hair, especially when it's a full denser brow. Okay. If customer wants more intense, can we leave longer? No, because the times stop at to what the timings they say they are. So basically you would have to use the intense primer or a darker brown color-based gel. When mixing a color gel, does it need to sit for 1 minute or can it be applied immediately? No, the color gel, so my time is up. The color gel, once you squeeze it out, you go right away. All 3 steps, once you squeeze them out, use them right away. Because of that timing, you don't want it to oxidize. So use them right away. Do not prepare them ahead of time and leave them there. You need to use them right away. And there's no mixing, right? Each step, there's no mixing. Much neater than piling it up with hopes that it covers. Much neater than piling. You're not going to sit there piling it, but you're going to do it like a nice spreading. As you saw, I was running my brush nicely and applying it, but then spreading it, right? Applying and then spreading it, okay? And not too much bulk on your brush so that you can always add more later. Like, I mean later, meaning don't overly full your brush with product, okay? I think it depends on the intensity of the color the client wants. Thanks. I think I have to go. Will this webinar be automatically? Yes, it will. Yes, Rachel. Okay, everybody good? Okay, so let's remove this. We went a little bit over time because of the issues that we had. So let's remove, and we're going to dry and do the final step. Okay, and that's once again where the magic will happen. And before you do the final step, if you had to brow map, do this because you need the brow mapping there for the activator. You're going to dry. We're going to move the other side. And then you're going to dry, and then you're going to redo the mapping wherever it needed to be, okay? If it needed to be. Okay, so I'm just drying. And I'm using brand new brushes. Like I have like a collection of like 6 brushes here because I don't want to be cross-contaminating, okay? Or mixing that product with other product and it won't have results, okay? Okay. So let's remap if we have to. I know here I need to remap it. Perfect. That's it. I'm going to grab my activator. Remember, activator is nice gray tube, okay? I'm going to get my third bowl. And once again, it's still a clear. Now, I'm going to show you something. Sometimes the activator, when it gets oxidative, quick, when I squeeze it out, do you see the little darker spots inside? Just squeeze it out until that's gone. That's fresh. Don't use that because it's been oxidized. Okay? So, now I'm going to squeeze. And it's, once again, a clear gel, a much thicker one, which is nice so you can apply it nicely. And I'm going to get my angled brush. I'm going to see questions before I go and apply this because this I need to take my time. So, are you moving with dry? Yes, thank you everybody for answering. You passed. So it sounds like the color turns and doesn't get darker if left on a few more. No, it doesn't. It's not progressive like the oxidative tint. Okay. The color gel timing, the base gel, yes, 2 minutes. And everybody answered, is a lash drive available for sale? Not ours, not the RefectoCil. It was given as a gift. I think by the time they make it, it's going to be very expensive. So it's not in the market to make. But like all my trainers and everybody, they've ordered either from a lash extension company like Premier Lash. Like I don't have it with me here, but Premier Lash has one as well too, decent pricing. Or Amazon for a fan. Okay. Thank you for the tip. So this will stay in the skin for 7 days. How many days did your older standard product remain in the skin? The sensitive line, less than this, like maybe 3 days on the skin. The oxidative, no days. Like the same day, it's gone from the skin. Okay. Okay. So hopefully I answered them all. Let's start doing the activator. So this is the part where we have to take your time. Okay. And this is a technique. Okay. So the activator is when I go in and I touch it and I touch the brow, it instantly darkens. So don't slab it on and stay there. Spread it because you're going to create patchiness. Okay. Also, when it starts to touch, it darkens. So when I take that brush back and put it in there, it's dark. It darkens in there. So you don't want to do that. So wipe off that solution. I wipe it on my glove or at the end of your bowl. Wipe it off every time you got to go back in and grab new. Okay. So I'm using my angled brush and you see the how fast? And keep moving it so it's not going to be blocked. So when I go back into my bowl, I'm going to wipe it on my glove. So you see how quick it is, right? See how quick it darkens? So because it doesn't progress, take your time to do this and make sure you're blending it. Now the tip, I'm going to clean my brush again. If you wanted to do a little bit of an ombre brow, you have to pull from the color gel and turn your spoolie, grab the color, and then apply it to the hair to the beginning with gentle strokes. So you'll have to apply a little bit more gel. That's like because I'm grabbing it from there. And then using the spoolie to be able to create that ombre brow. Okay, because you know at the from here to here, I use the brush, right? And because it's so dense, the brush, it's creating that more solid look. But as soon as I reach the beginning, I turn my spoolie and do that nice buffering. So it's not as solid. Okay, so let's see questions. I'm just going to let that one on for 1 minute, and I'm going to do one round at a time to be able to answer your questions. So, can we use a translucent? Okay, if the activator gets outside the mapping tool, it stains the skin if it has no color gel on it. So no, but you should, if you do go out, yeah, see how quick it is, if you do go outside of the brow mapping or you go on top of it, I would clean it right away. Anywhere you stained that you didn't want it, try to clean it right away, or else you'll just have to sit afterwards with the tint remover and and soften it much longer. Can we use translucent powder for the oily skin people to make it last longer than 3 days? Can we use a translucent powder? What do you mean by that? The powder? When are you putting it? What kind of powder? Is this for the brow mapping? Can we use a translucent powder for us oily skin people to help make it last longer? You gotta let me know what you mean by that. I have to admit, a little nervous to try the new product, thinking it might be too dark. You can always soften it. Said it gets darker, but it's not the same color when you wipe it off. Exactly, that too. That's okay. So, answered your ombre question. Okay, so timing is up. I'm gonna get my cotton swab with a little bit of water. Don't overly drench your cotton swab with water. Okay. What do you guys think of that? Let me turn it. So you see the beginning of the brow is able to get the ombre. It's not as dark as you guys might have thought. Is that nice? And I just did it with just water. See, a little bit. Now, if you thought it was too dark for your customer, then you're going to use tint remover. But I try not to because I don't want to break the evenness of it, right? But that looks decent. What do you guys think? Looks good? Yeah, thank you. Yep, the ash brown was a good choice. Exactly. Exactly. So you'll start to realize that too. That's why I always suggest people to get the ash brown. A little bit of water. That's it. Yeah, everybody likes it. Ah, nice. And it accommodates their hair as well. Oh, thank you guys. Awesome. We're gonna still gotta do the other brows, but I did notice that I had a little bit, and I gotta find my tint remover. But I did notice, and remember the tint remover says intense browns on it. Oh, blurry. But I did notice right here, I just softened a little bit. Okay, just me, because I need to, yes, wet but not soaking. Yeah, because you don't want too much water. You just want just enough. Like my pad is almost like wet dry. It's really hard to explain. Like it's not so really wet. But here she had a little bit of blotchy because I went outside of the line. My mom always would get mad at me when I would do coloring books because I always went outside of the line. So here a little bit, I went a little bit, just very little. And I'm just using the tint remover. But I'm not putting a tint remover on the hairs. And you see the brow mapping pencil came out nice as well. The brow mapping came out like the pencil, like with the water. Okay, so let's do the other side. Just water, just regular water, regular water from the sink. It's a pity color doesn't last a month on the skin. Oh, that would be nice, but the technology is really tough for anybody to invent that. Like, and especially to make the ingredients approved and prop. You know what I mean? We just can't put any ingredients in it. It has to be approved by Health Canada or the FDA. So let's do the other side now. So I'm going to get you to shift this side. And like I mentioned, I'm just rushing a little bit because of our time, but take your time with this, okay? The activator part. Make sure you're not double dipping, you're cleaning your brush. Like you clean it before you put it back in because that black part, so you can see my activator has not turned black because I'm always cleaning my brush before I go in there. If you start seeing that this turning so black, you're not cleaning your brush properly before. So here I need to fix it. Let me just see the other side. Okay. Okay, cleaning it again. And now we're going to saturate it a little bit more so that I can grab from it. And that way too, you're not going to have that abrupt stop. And then you're going to blend in. So you're creating that shadowing for the ombre. Make sure you get a little bit of skin, just a little bit, because when you wipe it off, as you can see here, there's just a little shading of the skin, right? If you don't make a little bit of the shading on the skin, when you wipe it off, it'll be like nothing there. Okay. Okay, so that's going to stay for the 1 minute. Oh, lots of questions, guys. Woohoo. Okay, let's put that on for a minute. Let's see. Can Chrissy answer these in a minute? Okay, so I cannot wait to do this. Okay, good. Awesome. I can't wait to add this service to my, oh, great. This is great comments. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your excitement. Okay, should we also do one side at a time for even time frames? No, because the time stops. I'm just doing it because I need to answer your questions. It's up to you. If you want to do it, you can when you want to get comfortable at first. But the times shouldn't be progressive, right? So you have the time. If the timing is up and you left it on there, it's okay as you're working the other brow. Okay. I would think so, since it would take more than 1 minute to carefully apply. But if you feel like Megan's saying, if you feel like you want to do it one brow at a time. Okay. Excelling so it will never overprocess. That's what they say. It's not progressive. It's not a progressive tint like the oxidative. The oxidative tints, they progress up until 45 minutes, I believe. So they can get darker, right? Yeah. I've been doing this for a month now, and I feel like sometimes on certain people it doesn't stick in certain areas. You can tell what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so yes, we will not. Even though I've been doing this on so many models and so forth, there are sometimes some of them that just doesn't stick. And you know what can happen too? It could be a model that you're doing I'm not a model, a client you're doing all the time, and the 11th time it just doesn't stick. It sometimes has to do with the chemistry of the skin and maybe the medications they're taking or treatment they're doing, that somehow it just didn't allow it to stick properly. Also, if you want to be redoing it on your customer sooner because it fades faster, it has to be done once the skin staining has been done. If there's still skin staining and you try to go and do the intense browns, you're going to not stick it properly. So that the skin staining has to have diminished, has to have faded, and then you can redo it. It won't overprocess because it's plant-based, but even with plant-based items, you got to make sure products. You got to make sure your client, if they're really sensitive even to like water per se, you got to make sure that you're keeping your customers skin proper. So do patch tests just to make sure, even if it's a plant-based extract. Okay. Yeah, and exfoliate. For the question that was that they've been doing this, and for some customers, just make sure that maybe those customers, they were dry skin, right? And make sure you keep your brush always flowing, because that's where you can avoid having patch as well. Okay. So it turned out nice on Rula. So let's just do that and do the other side as well. So this side here had more skin staining because of the patch that was there. So obviously you are going to see a little bit of degradation, and same with here. They're like not degradation. You're going to see like a difference in tone, a little bit in color because of the skin area. So let me just do one thing again with this side with the tint remover, and then we're good. I wish they would make the base gels and primer not clear. I know, but I guess the formulation of how it is, it can't be. Question, is there a patchy area and we would like it to be darker? Could we? Yes, you can reapply it. You can redo it. So if there was an area that was missing it and it didn't grasp properly, you can redo it. And you can do the color gel first and then the activator. They say you don't necessarily have to go back to the primer because the primer was the first thing that we did. But sometimes I find that I might have to put primer. Depending if you weren't liberal in how you applied the primer, you might have to go back and put it. But you can just do the sorry, you can just do the color gel and the activator. Okay. Okay. Did I miss anybody's question? Thank you, Susie. Ash Brown, beautiful. Sorry. Oh, thank you for guys answering it. So I meant, yeah, I think we got all up to date, right? Perfect. So what's the last thing we have to do? Styling gel. Okay. Styling gel is the last thing. I'm going to squeeze some on my other side of my gloves because you can see the horror story happening here with the color activator because I was wiping it off before I went in. Okay, I did this once after brow lamination. The color stick, but it came out really strong, and I used ash brown. Maybe because of the pores being open from the brow lamination, because the brow lamination does, porous. It makes the hair porous, so maybe that's why it was darker than usual. You can try using without the primer to see how it is, but if you need to stain skin, then you would do the primer, and at the end, just buff it with water to soften it. Okay, I can see that if a client has flaking skin inside the brow that it will have dark spots. Yes, yes, exactly. So if you start seeing it's patchy, you didn't exfoliate, that could be the reason. Yep, you can use sorry, I'm losing my words. The styling gel, you can use it after every service of RefectoCil, whether it's a brow lamination, a lash lift, lash tinting, brow tinting, okay? It's the oil one that you'd want to wait like 24 hours after, okay? So we're going to hydrate, we're going to condition, we're going to seal in the treatment, okay? Great retail product. As I mentioned, the holiday season is coming up. So it's a great stocking stuffer. I use these even in the summer because I love being in the sun a lot. And I use it as a primer. Also, when I go to apply my mascara, it helps it stay on nicely. So yeah. Okay, there we go. We put the styling gel. So that is your intense browns. Let me see if I can. If I move the camera too much, I'm going to disconnect us. So I'm going to try not to. But I'm going to bring it closer without disconnecting you guys. How? Okay. A little wet on the side. Yeah, if it worked really nice. Thank you guys. Okay, let me see the questions before we end. Can you use the styling gel? Yes, we answered that. What shades did you say we can use for lash tinting? The darkest one. So it is the black brown. That's the darkest one, but they're gonna come out with a true black hopefully sometime next year. But you would use the black brown. Okay. And you don't need to use the primer. It's just the color gel, black brown, and then the activator. And you follow the same way you would do, set your pads underneath your bottom lashes so you can tint the top and the bottom. Okay. You use a styling gel with a brush. I use the spoolie, a brand new spoolie, because I don't want to double dip. If the customer buys it and takes it home, they can double dip and use the brush that comes with it. But I don't, because I use this one on my customers. So I have to use a disposable mascara one, or for my brushes, the one that I didn't use, I use the spoolie. Okay. Thinking this will fade faster if a client uses glycolic. Yes, it will. So tell them to avoid the brow area and the skin area with the glycolic type of cleansers. Anything, even when they use sorry, it's a little blurry. Even when they use exfoliants. Oh, I didn't make that better. I was trying to make it less blurry. Her brows look amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Wow, beautiful. Looks amazing. What did you use on her? Ash brown. Can you set her up so we can see? The thing is, if I move my camera, it's going to disconnect. Something happened with the wiring that it keeps on disconnecting me. So she can try and turn around. I just have a feeling it's going to disconnect us. But is there another way that I can kind of like move it for you guys? Turn a little bit this way, Rula, to the, oh, this way. Yeah. If I try to move the camera up, it's going to disconnect. But is that better? Turn the other way. It's not a camera phone. It's a webcam. It's a webcam. And the wiring has become very loose. I think that's why we got disconnected twice. Sorry, guys. It's a webcam. I can take a I didn't take a before picture, but I should have one from her from before. But I can take a picture of her when she's sitting up and put it in my stories on my Instagram. You guys can see. Is that okay? I just don't want us to. Oh, for her to flip. Ah, smart. Yes. Flip your laptop or flip your. Yeah. Okay. Any after rules? Let's do this so we can end because we are been here for a while. This product safe to use on eyelashes. Then your older products. They're both. Okay. Let's see. Where do you use what? When do you use a saline solution? At the beginning. We use at the beginning to prep, and also after brow lamination. Before you go to the intense browns, you should clean with the saline. Thank you so much, Christy. This was great. I'm excited for California. Excited for you too, Stephen, for California. This is going to be awesome, to get it started and get your customers to know about these services, because a lot of salons are not offering this. So glad to hear your excitement. Is this product safe to use on eyelashes? We said yes. Same with our oxidative. They're safe to use. It's just that in the US, they need an FDA compliant tinting system, so you'd have to use this on the lashes. So after 5 to 7 days, they will not look as symmetric. Not as symmetric because she does have brows that are like beginning to the end. They will look less dense. They won't look as full after 5 to 7 days because they would come off the skin. But, just be mindful. Don't rub this area even after 24 hours. Clean around. Don't clean your skin around, but don't rub your brows. Okay. Aftercare rules they should follow. As I said, within that 24 hours, no water, no makeup, no saunas, no oils. And when you put eye cream, when you go to sleep, make sure that it dries a little bit before you go to sleep so it doesn't spread into the brow area. Waxing is done at the end. So right now, if I had to shave before the styling gel, I would wax if I had to. Any hair removal process. If you tilt your head a little bit more back like that. Oh, wait, can you see? Maybe that might help if she tilts her head a little bit more. Yeah, so, okay, you can relax now, yeah. And so is that it? And before tinting, no, not before tinting, at the end, and is your inside, your name. It's Barwissa. I'm going to put the PowerPoint back on. Wait, guys, I hope everybody didn't leave. I didn't have an important thing to show you guys. Let's put the PowerPoint back because there's an important thing I want to mention. Okay, so there is my Barwissa by RefectoCil. Okay, that's the one that I can post the after when she's standing up. I'll take a after and post it. And then just follow everything. And here is, so I don't know if you want to take a picture of this for the contest. So if you want to take a picture of this, pull out your cameras. Hopefully you pulled out your cameras and took some pictures during the webinar because here is our contest. I'm going to have to explain it a little bit. Okay, so every week starting from the 28th of November until the 23rd of December, we're going to be giving away an Intense Browns kit. So once a week, you're going to be getting an Intense Brown kit, okay? A winner will be getting it. So what must you do? Follow us on IG and also like our Facebook. So there you have the 2 accounts. Every week, like a new post. But in that post every week that you like, you need to tag 2 new professionals. So say today you're going to go you're going to go like a post and you're going to tag 2 professionals. The next time you're going to tag two new ones for the following week. Okay, so do this once a week and it gives you bonus entries. It gives you many entries. But also another bonus entry is today you sat in a webinar, share, that's why I said take pictures, share on your stories and tag these 2 accounts and you will have extra bonus entries. And we're going to be marking this down for people who take this and then we're going to put all the names into a pool and then extra names for the people that did this. Okay? Does the contest make sense? It's a little complicated, this one, but we wanted to make it effective as well for our social media, make the awareness out there, and also we're putting a huge budget and giving a kit away every week until the 23rd of December. Okay? So everybody good with that? Anything else before we end this? I know there's a lot more questions, but please, the rules make sure complete sense. Awesome, guys. I was trying to write this to make it make sense. Please, if there's any questions, email me. I will answer them. Okay? Wishing you all the best with this service. We are always here to support you. Take into consideration of our website. It's going to help you as well. I appreciate your support and have a wonderful day from Rula and I. Bye, guys.